Now let's go ahead and jump into the more intermediate stuff, like how to create a landing page that looks just like this. Now by looking at this page, we have a 2-column row. We have a blurb module, a heading text, we have a text, and then we have 2 buttons. And then on the right side, I just put in an image. So let's go ahead now and recreate this and create a landing page. And now let's delete this section and let's start from scratch. So here I go, I'll delete this section. Now before we jump into building the website, I now want to create presets for our elements. Wouldn't it be nice if we can just select a preset color and style for all of our elements? We're now going to add in presets for our styling options. Now on the left side, you're going to see variable manager, and we have colors, fonts, and a few other options. I want to select colors. Now what you can do here is select a specific color palette and then apply it to all your elements. Now I found this website called colorhunt.co, and this actually introduces a lot of different color palettes if you want to use this to sort of get inspiration for your websites. But all you would do is just go ahead and click on the actual color code right here, and then you can paste this onto your websites. So for example, I'll click on the color and then just go ahead and paste this. There we go. And then this is going to be your new color. Okay, so for my primary color, I'm going to leave this as this specific color. I actually did use this for our demo websites. However, I want to change the secondary color. So for the secondary color, I'm going to type in 425393. And I just had to use this specific color. For the heading text, I want to make sure that this is black. So over here, I'm just going to make sure that this is black. And for the body text, I can go ahead and select not really like a pitch black, but just kind of like a more subtle black, something that looks just like that. Now we can also add in more global colors. So here I'll select add a global color, and I'll just type in subheading. And then for this color, I'm going to select this one. So it is 55F290. And this is like a more of like a pink color. And I'm going to add one more. So I'll click on add a global color, and this will be backgrounds. Okay, backgrounds, and generally you might want to select a specific color for backgrounds on your websites, but I'll click on the color icon and I'll type in DAF5FF. Okay, yeah, so it's a very soft, subtle white, and I want to use this for our backgrounds. So I'll be using many of these colors for the remainder of this video. So you might want to pick a color palette, and you can use these to apply to each specific element. Next, I'll click on the colors, and then we'll click on fonts. Now for the fonts, for the heading, I'm going to change this to Abeey. And then for the body, I'm going to select DM Sans. So I'll type in DM Sans, and there we go. So I want to use these specific colors and fonts for the remainder of the video. So then I'll click on Save Variables. Next, I'll click on Apply Changes. Okay, and then I'll just go ahead and close out of this by just clicking on the variable manager. So you may want to select colors and fonts to accommodate your website. So now that we have our variables, now let's create the section. Now the first thing I want to do is apply a background color. So for section settings, I'll click on backgrounds. And then for the background color, now you'll see that we have those global colors available. I want to select this one right here called backgrounds. And this is like a very subtle, soft sort of like blue. Then I'll click on the plus and then select 2 columns. And for the first one, I'm going to select icon list. Okay. Now here on the right side, I'm going to delete these other icon lists, and then I'm just going to, then I'll just select the icon list, and then I'm going to add in an icon. So for the icon list, I'll put in video. There we go. And then for the text, I will put in something like play video. Now we can't really see it because it's covering it, but once we hover past it, you can now see it. Next, I want to adjust the icon size. So for the design, under the icon settings, so I'll change the icon size to maybe like 40 pixels. And then for the body text, I will also change the font to our, to our presets. Here, I'll adjust the weight. And then I will change the text size to something like 18. Next, let's add in another module. So I'll click on add module, and then I'll type in a heading module. Here we go. And this will say something like, welcome to, welcome to CyberGuard, or, any business you want to put. So welcome to CyberGuard. And then for the design, I'll go ahead and style this. So for the heading, here we have the heading font. I'll change this to Abeey. And then for the font weight, I'll just make this ultra bold. And then I'll pick a heading text color, and I want to select this one here. And then we have the heading size. Now you're going to see that you have the option to click on pixels, and here you have a variety of options where you can select pixels, REM, and all these other options. Now, if you are using text, I definitely recommend to use REM. So go ahead and click on REM. And as you can see, it's quite big, and I'm going to change this to 5 REM. Now, I bet you guys are wondering, why didn't you select pixels? So for example, what is REM and why does it matter? Well, let me go ahead and explain. So going back to our demo websites, you're gonna see that we have 4 different types of fonts. We have pixels, REM, M, and then we also have clamp. Now going back to our demo websites, you're gonna see that we have 4 different types of text. We have pixels, REM, M, and then we have clamp. Now, at first glance, these all look the same. However, if we go over here to the settings, and if I change this appearance for accessibility, you're gonna notice something. So for the font size, I'm gonna put this to very small. Now, if I go back to our website, you're gonna see that the text has changed. Now, why have they changed? Well, when you deal with pixels, you're dealing in absolute, meaning pixels will never change. It will always be 46 pixels no matter what screen size or accessibility options the user selects. That's why this is the incorrect method for text on your websites. Now here we have REM. Now REM is the most optimal and correct method to use because with REM, it's going to adjust to screen sizes and also to accessibility settings. Next, we have M. Now, M is also not the correct method because this is heavily influenced by the column and container that it's currently in. So this can actually give you unpredictable results. So make sure to stay away from M. And lastly, we have clamp. Now, clamp is actually the most optimal way to adjust the text, but REM will also do just fine. Now, let me explain clamp a little bit more in detail. So going back to our website, if I click on the option for the text, we can select clamp. Now what clamp does is it basically sets a minimum and maximum size, and this can adjust on different screen sizes. So for example, I'll go ahead and say I want the minimum to be 3 rem, I want the default to be 4 rem, and I want the maximum to be 5 rem. Now if I select that option, this can actually change depending on the screen size users are on. However, just to keep it simple, if you're using text, just make sure to use REM. You can't go wrong with it. So for my heading, I'll select 5 rem. There we go. So that's the difference between the variety of different text sizes. Now let's keep going. So over here, I'm gonna enter in the subheading. So I'm gonna put text, okay. And then over here, obviously we can adjust the contents. I'll just make this a little bit more smaller. And for the design, again, you just wanna make sure that you always change the text to REM. So over here for the text size, we're gonna put REM. Okay, so that looks really cluttered, and all you gotta do is just change this to 1. Okay, so my standard is 1, and for my headings, I'm going to change it to maybe 5 or 3, just depending on where I place it. And the last element is the button. So I'll go ahead and click on plus and type in button, and then I will click on the button. Now notice here how we have 1 button, and if I decide to duplicate this or add another one, you're gonna notice that these stack on top of each other, but I want them side by side. If I go over here to our demo websites, you're gonna see that we have a button, and then I also put a button here without a background, and these are stacked neatly side by side. Now this is where the Flexbox and group module come really in handy. Now over here, I'll click on the plus, and I will select the group. Okay, now this is a little messy, right? And when you're working with Divi, things might get messy. That happens all the time. I want to click on the wireframe view. Now what's really cool is I can actually take these and drag them inside of the group. Okay, so this way it's a lot cleaner and easier. So there we go, we got 2 buttons and they're inside the group. And then I will click on the wireframe view, and now they're inside the group. Now real quick, I want to style these buttons. So over here under the module settings, I'll just quickly go ahead and style this button. Over here on the design tab, we have button, and then we have backgrounds. For the background color, I do want to select my standard background color. Okay, so there is my background. And then for the text, I will change this to a different font. So I want to select my, I'll just select DM Sans, and then I'll just make this maybe like thin. Now I want to change the text. Now I know it says it's white, but you actually have to like select it again. It's really annoying, but hopefully they fix that in the near future. And notice here how this has a border around it. So I want to take off this white border around the button. So if I go up here and click on border, I can actually get rid of this border. So they have a border of 2 pixels, and I'll just change this to 0. So now we have no border. Now the last thing I want to do is if I hover over this button, you're going to see that we have that animation, and I want to get rid of that. So to do that, all we got to do is go over to the icon, and then right here it says only show icon. I want to go ahead and disable that. Okay. And I also want to just get rid of the icon altogether. So I'll just click on the show icon button, and then it's gone. Now, for those of you who want to integrate a hover option, so for example, if I hover over this, it would be cool if it changes to black, right? So up here, you'll see this computer symbol. And if I click on hover, we can now design the button if someone were to hover over it. So for example, I'll click on the background color and I want to change this to black. Okay, there we go. And if you go up here and you click on the arrow and click on preview on front end, you can get like a quick preview. So for example, when I hover over this, you will now see it turns to black. Pretty cool. Now, it would be really nice if every time that we added a button to our website, it had these same exact presets. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna select preset options for this. So every time we add a button, it'll look just like this. So to do that, here at the top right, I will click on this little assign presets, and then I'll click on new presets from current styles. Now, what this is gonna do is every single time I add a button, it's now going to use this specific preset. So here I'll put main button. And then I'll click on assign as default and then click on save presets. You're gonna see that every button now that was on the page will then change to this specific style. Now, if I add a new button on the actual websites, for example, here we go, it will now have that specific style. So that's how you can select presets for your websites. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later.